Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. So we're going to get back on this Mahindra hydraulic cylinder. In the previous video, we set this barrel up in the lathe and we had to chase these threads out where they were galled from this rod gland being removed. Clean these threads up really nice, took a few thousandths out of them, made them nice and round again, so we should have some good threads in the barrel now for our new rod gland. So this is what we're going to be machining, and I've got this 3-inch ductile iron right here that we're going to be using to machine this. This is excellent material to make rod glands. It's a good bearing material there as well. I prefer to machine that versus the aluminum, so that's what we're going with. All right, so I've got my seals in from CRC. So we're going to focus on the ID right now. We're going to set this material up in the lathe like so, and we'll get it drilled, we'll get it bored, we'll turn the OD to what this diameter is, which is 3-inch, and then we're going to focus on the internal grooves first. So we have a wiper, we have an ST150 XL rod wiper that's going to go in there, and then our rod seal is this DRU 25-1.5, and that's going to be the rod seal that we're going to be using there. So I need to grind a couple of tool bits to get in here and machine these grooves at. I don't have any tools on me offhand to machine these, so we're going to use a piece of high-speed steel. I'll grind 2 of them. One of them is going to be to machine the wiper groove, and then we'll have a wider one that we can go in there and machine the seal groove out there as well. All right, so I think we're going to start with that first. We'll go ahead and get our tools ground, get those ready, and then we will go to the lathe, set up our material, and start machining this new rod gland. All right, so I wanted to show you, I did a little hand sketch right here just to kind of help us out while we jump over here and get in the Precision Matthews to do our machining for the rod gland. So I did want to show you that right there. This is only to cover the diameters and the widths of the 2 grooves that I need to machine in that. So we're going to focus on that first before I move on to the thread and all these other diameters and these outside grooves. So it helps to make a little sketch up like that. So as you're cutting these grooves, you can quickly reference that. I use the book right here. This is the CRC seal book. It's got all of the dimensions that you would ever need for any of these seals. So for example, we're going to be cutting an ST style wiper. I'm sorry, an STXL style wiper. So that's what I have the book pulled up to right here. And let me just find it real quick. ST150, it's right in there. So these are excellent because it gives you all of the dimensions that you need to know. Throat diameters, groove widths. It gives you the diameter and the tolerances as well. So I use the book. If you don't have a book, you can go on their website because it has all this stuff on their website there as well. So it's all digital because they're actually not printing these anymore. So like this is, you can see that's from 2015. So anyway, hopefully that'll help you out right there. We have our wiper and our rod seal. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a couple of these high-speed steel blanks right here, and we're going to go ahead and I'll probably just take one. I'll grind one side to machine the wiper groove, and the other side of the tool bit, I'm going to grind it probably a 1/4 inch wide. We're going to shoot for like a 0.250 wide groove there that we can come in here and machine this groove. It's 0.343. So this is one where you'll cut it, you offset it, and you cut it again, and you clean the bottom up. Standard practice there on manual lathe work. So let's go over to the pedestal grinder and get us a couple of these tool bits ground up. All right, we're over here on the bow door pedestal grinder, and we'll go ahead and start grinding our tool. We're going to start with a 3/16 wide groove first tool, and then I'll flip it around and we'll focus on the one that's going to be a 1/4 inch wide. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use one side of the tool and I'm just going to get it ground kind of even with that side, and the other side of the tool is where I'm going to remove the bulk of the material to get to the width that I want. So I'm just giving the side relief that I need now. All right, and that's good on that side right there, and we'll just touch that up on the fine wheel. Right now we're using the coarse wheel. So I'm going to come around here to this side, and we are going to make that 3/16. So we got a little bit of material to grind away right here. Grind a little bit and cool it off. Just check it every now and then. We still got plenty to go, but just get in here and do some measurements. Getting close. We need 3/16. So right there, it's about 10 thousandths away right there. 197 on the widest part. So we're very close. That one I'm going to go ahead and leave it about where it's at, because I do need to grind the end, make sure we have a good grind on the end. And the way that I have this ground is that you have relief on the back side of the tool there. So it kind of goes in like that. So as you start grinding the tip, it's going to start getting a little bit smaller because of that cone shape. So since I'm about 10 thousandths off, I'm just going to leave it right there, and we'll go ahead and finish it over on the fine side. All right, so we're going to touch the nose of the tool first, and then we got to make sure that it's nice and square also. I just want to get it ground. Just get a ground edge established right there. See it? All right, and then as we do that, it'll probably change a little bit. Hasn't really changed much, but you see what I mean. We only have 10 thousandths to go. So now that I've got that end squared up, what I want to do is make sure that we have this square. So you have a machinist square like this. Any kind of good square will work, and you have to line it up like so to make sure the nose of the tool is going to be completely square with the side of the tool. And I'm going to step back so I can hold this up. This is what I have to do. And I can tell that I have just a little bit to grind on my left side right here. I'm going to come back in here and just touch it again. Just touch it. Just be nice and gentle with it. And then you hold it up to the light. That is about as square as I can get it by hand grinding right there. So I know the tool is square with the side. That'll allow me, once this is going in, I know that the side of the tool is square to the boring bar, because that's a nice high quality bar, and the face of that is going to be nice and square. All right, so now we just want to finish our width. I'm going to go ahead and clean up this side first. Can you see the finish grind on it? Okay. Now I'm going to check it, see how much I took off. You see that? I took about 4 or 5 thousandths off of that. So we're almost there. Now we need to clean up the other side of the tool. Got it touched up. Let's take a measurement. 188.5. 188.5. And I need to verify the book, but see, you have a tolerance on those groove widths. I believe it's 4/1000. Oversized, not undersized. So that tool technically is right where it needs to be, right there. So the only thing left to do is to do some honing on the edges, and then that'll be ready to cut. All right, so now I'm just gonna flip the tool around and we'll use the back side. What we'll do is we'll just cut this tool in half, so we'll have, you know, two separate tools there. Do the same thing. I'm gonna start with this side and just give it side relief, get it ground so that we have a relief, and then the bulk of the material is gonna be ground off on this side right there. But we don't have a whole lot to take off, because I'm gonna shoot for making this one 0.25 wide, just to have a 1/4 inch wide grooving tool. Put my light back over here. You see that? Mm-hmm. A little bit of a flat still on there that we got to grind. Line up with the edge that I've already ground. Just about have it right there. I can see just a little bit of a flat left on that top edge, but so the fine wheel will clean that up right there. So we'll go ahead and cool it off, and then we'll start getting the bulk off of the other side of the tool there. So as you're over here grinding on these wheels, you do enough grinding, you kind of realize, you can notice when it starts loading up a little bit with the high-speed steel, it starts making a little bit more discoloration. So I just need to dress that. So I've got my wheel dresser, and I'm just going to touch it up. Just a little bit. Now we come back in here, should see a little bit better sparking action. Yep. It's taking that material off a lot faster than it was. I hadn't dressed it in a while, so it had a little bit of buildup in there. About 30 thou. We're almost there, 252. All right, so what we're going to focus on now is the nose of the tool. We want to make sure it's square, and then we'll touch it up on the sides with the fine wheel, and it should be pretty close to being finished. All right, a little bit on the left side of the tool. Didn't quite. I did get it. Let's go ahead and check it though. So I got about 2,000 that I can take off of it. So I'm going to do this side one more time. 50.5 on the calipers there, so it'll be close enough right there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna break the corner on both edges of the tool that we're grinding there, okay? Just touch it. Just like that. Come around here to this one. Just break the corners off of it. I'm trying to get it where you might be able to, there you go. You can see that side right there. And from here, all we got to do is hone it. This will be done. So I got my little honing stick right here, and I just want to kind of hone the corners and the flats of the tool, okay? It just kind of puts the corner that I broke off, it kind of rounds it a little bit. It just rounds those edges. Now what I want to do is hone the side. You can kind of see that shinier part right up there at the top. That's your hone. Go ahead and do this other side right here. I can see that edge honed in nicely. And then we'll do the nose of the tool. That's really the most important edge on this. Try to hold it square. Can you see that hone on that edge there?
Looks beautiful.
That's what we're looking for. I'm going to do it one more time. I need a little bit more on that other side there. That should be good. And then I also like to take the top and just hone it like that. It slicks off that top edge there where it's going to be doing the cutting. Gets rid of that discoloration from the grinding as well. Just kind of gives it a nice little polish. And the last one, I'll take this is the white, this is the polishing stick right here. And I'll take and I'll just give it a polish. And what this does, this really helps make a beautiful surface finish in the groove. The better you can hone it, the better finish you're going to get whenever you cut that groove there. So I'll keep working these tools right here and get them nicely honed. I still got to do this side right there too. So we got our tool honed the way we want. The last thing that we need to do is you need to make sure you have enough relief on the bottom of the tool, like the heel, so that it doesn't rub the bore inside the part there. So just grind a little relief on the bottom. Something like that. I'll probably put just a little bit more. That's looking pretty good right there. So just, like I said, just a little relief so it doesn't rub the bore on the bottom of the tool. Do the same thing on the narrow side. All right, so we've got our two tool bits ground there for our grooves, our 3/16 and our 343 groove. All right, got that finished up. So we'll go ahead and go over to the lathe. We'll chuck this piece of ductile iron up in the 4-jaw chuck, get it trued. And so face it, drill it, bore it, machine the grooves in there. We'll turn the OD, which is going to be this right here. This is going to get turned down to 3 inches. Get that done, and then what we'll do is end up parting it off. Once we part it off, then we'll chuck it back up into the lathe like this on this 3-inch OD, get it trued up like it needs to be, and finish all this out here. You know, your groove for your O-ring seal, your threads to fit the barrel, and all that stuff. All right, so let's get to the lathe and start getting this thing machined. I've already got the forge all set for our 3-inch stock right here, which is about 3 1/8. This kind of stuff is made so that you can clean it up to the nominal size. Hanging out about 4 inch. I'm just measuring the length of it, so about 2.5 or so. So that's plenty right there, 4 inches. All right, let's get her indicated. We have got our Starrett dial indicator set up with the roller tip that my friend Ernie gave me. Thank you, Ernie. Let's see how it does on this piece of extruded material like this. Just rolls right along that OD. You can see all those grooves in there. That's going to work nicely. I think I'm going to go back to my longer chuck wrench because I just need a little bit more out here. A little bit easier to be out here away from the casting of the machine. Yep. This does not have to be exact, but we're going to get it within a few thou. Yep, that's good on those two right there. Then we'll go to the other two, 0 and 3. Tighten the high first. Yeah, that's looking good. So we ain't worried about it. We're going to go ahead and snug all the jaws, just make sure they're all equally tightened. And there we are, indicated. I like that roller tip, works good. So we'll go ahead and just spot it with a center drill. I'm gonna go in with a 1/2 inch drill bit just to kind of put a pilot, and then we'll finish it out. This is a drill bit that I found at a local antique store. I found a few of them different sizes. This is a 1 3/8. It's the YG brand, Korean made, high-speed steel. Never been used before. I think we're going to give that a try and see how this drill does. So whenever you're machining cast iron and ductile iron like this, it's generally practiced that you do not use coolant or oil on it. It's a self-lubricating material because of the graphite in there. So it's best if you just go in there dry like this. If you got the ways lubricated well, you can just slide the tailstock in and out. I go a couple cranks on the handle and back it out. That's 1 revolution, 2 revolutions, loosen it and pull it out. We're just about, I was going to go 3 inches deep with this 1/2 inch drill, and there it is, 3 inches deep. that drill seemed to do just fine. Take it out and look at it. So we were running 180 RPM on that. Yeah, it did just fine. I generally have had good experience with Korean made tools. I've had a lot of different drills and especially taps that are Korean made. So just one of a few that I found at an antique store that were brand new. Got them for a good price, good stuff to keep in the toolbox. So that worked out pretty good. Now all we got is 1/8 of an inch to bore out of that for our rod size. All right, we got this 1-inch Walter bar in here. We're going to use to bore it. I was seeing about what that drill cut looks like, around 1 inch, 379, 380-ish. Yep, so a little, about 5/1000ths oversized, not a big deal. So let's go ahead and get it bored. I've already got me a Z established on our depth. Just take 50/1000ths, clean it up. Just using our telescope gauge and a micrometer. We'll go ahead and get our bore on size. We'll make sure that we get a good finish in there and take a light finish pass to clean it up. But right now we're 1.423, so we got a little bit, about 75, a little over 75 thou to come out of it. They got 11/1000ths to come out of it to bring it to 1.502. Let's see where we finished our bore. Messed that one up. Let's do that again. All right, and what we're looking for is, I'm shooting for a 1.502 to 1.503. All right. So looks like we've got 1.502 and 4/10. All right, and that's great. So I was trying to keep it under 1.503. I mic'd the rod at 1.499, so that's giving us about 3.5 thousandths clearance over the rod. I didn't mic the entire rod, but the one spot that I mic'd was 1 under, which is the normal size for that chrome plated rod there. So generally with hydraulic components like this on your sliding fits for your head gland, your seal gland here, you want to keep it within 4/1000ths oversized, you know, so you're kind of shooting for between the 1 and the 4/1000ths tolerance. Generally, whenever something like this is over that, you know, you're getting over 4 thousandths clearance is when you're gonna, you know, bore this and put a bushing in there, or build a new one, or put a rod gland, not a rod gland, a wear band. So if you have an existing rod gland that is good, but you mic this area here, this is your sliding fit, your bearing fit for the rod. If this is oversized, say it's 6 thousandths oversized, you can buy the wear bands that go in there. So you have to set it up, go in there and machine you a groove. It's usually 1/8 deep per side, 1/4 inch over. And you get that machine so that whenever you snap that wear band in there, it actually brings it back down to the tolerance that you want. All right, so just kind of throwing out some general hydraulic information for you, for those that out there trying to pick up on some of this stuff. So that's good. We hit our bore size where we want. So we'll go ahead and start cutting our grooves in there next. I'm going to be relying on my DRO to help get me on all my dimensions that we want. So I've already got a Z established to we've got a Z0 right there. That's going to be the back of the back face of the groove. And I've already got our tool set to our diameter at 1.503. I bring this out, it should, yep, that's where it stops right there, 1.503. So we're going to be taking that to what I say, I'm trying to find it on my drawing, at 1.875 is what we want on the diameter of the groove. All right, so, but we'll get the other camera in there so you guys can see hopefully a little bit better shot of the machining of the groove itself. Here's a little better look at our drawing that we made up. And the first one that we're going to be focusing on is this groove right here, the 187 wide. This is for the ST150 wiper. So 187, we have a land width there of 100 thousandths you have to take consideration. And then 2 different diameters we'll have to cut. So the groove diameter is going to be 1.872 plus 6 thousandths minus 0. And then the throat diameter, which is this right here, is going to be, let's just call it 1 3/4, 1.750. All right, so we'll focus on that one, get that cut, and then we'll, you don't have to swap the tool out, but just for me, since we've got such a wide groove, it's going to be easier to take this tool out and put our wider groove in there. And then we'll do the same thing. We'll move it back here and cut that one out there as well. Brought that out to 1.872. One thing to remember is once you get your size, try not to let it dwell very long. It will try to chatter on you a little bit. I've got a little bit extra hanging out here that I could have tightened it up, but I had the bar where I wanted. So it's just, as soon as you hit your size, just back off of it so it doesn't rub the bore and create chatter marks. Should be good to go. Let's clean that out, get a little better look at it. I'll do some measuring just to verify it, but let's go ahead and cut the throat diameter now. Taking this to 1.745, 1.750-ish. Go. That should be our groove for our ST150 rod wiper. Only thing that we'll have left to do is to chamfer those corners off of it. I like using these old spring calipers right here to measure these grooves out. They have a nice soft tip on there. They're not going to scratch it or gall it. Got to get that feel where it just touches it. And I just use the calipers. Where my caliper goes, they're up here. So we're looking for, let's just call it 1 inch 875 is what we want right here. You guys see that? I think so. It's touching right there. 1 inch 873. I'm going to call it where I measured it right there, 1 inch 873. It's just touching that. Why'd you go off? One inch 873. So we're within our tolerance of what we wanted to be. Book says 1.872 plus 0.6 minus 0. All right. So we can go ahead and we'll check our groove width there as well. Our width, we wanted 187, and it was, I think it was +4. Using a Steric groove mic right here for this. And what I like to do just to make my job easier is once I get my measurement, when you're measuring the width like that, try to turn it over without messing with the barrel. And just measure it like this. 188 and a half, 189. That's within the tolerance that we were shooting for right there. Nice. So I've shown this in a lot of previous videos, but if you don't have a groove mic, it's really handy for any kind of groove measurements like that right there. All right, so next up is our seal groove right there. And so we'll touch off on this outer face, and this is actually, if you count all these dimensions up, that's 1 inch in to this side of the groove. All right, so 1 inch that way, and then we have a diameter that we need to take it out to 2 inches plus 0.8 minus 0. All right, we'll get this tool in there. I'll get it touched off on my my X and my Z, and then we'll get this one machined next right there. And then this is here's your rod seal that's going to be sitting in that groove right there. It's halfway there. We're at 1 3/4 on our diameter. We need to go to 2 inches. Okay, so that's a 1/4 inch wide groove. We're not finished yet because we've got to make that wider. So we're going to go back in there and in a positive direction in Z, 95 thousandths to bring it to the 0.343 width that we want. Coming up on our 2 inch. I'm going to bring that tool back across, clean that groove diameter up. All right, I want to get in there and measure our diameter and see where we're at. Get the calipers here. One inch 995 on that one, and 2 inch plus 8. So I'm probably have to go in there, take a little bit more out of that diameter. But let me get another measurement here. It's always good to do it 2 or 3 times just to double check yourself, make sure you got it right. Couple thousandths difference on that, and that's easily to do on these spring calipers there, but you can see how close you can get once you get the feel for it. So I'm just going to go in there and just take a couple more thousandths out of that diameter. But before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and check the groove width and see if we hit our intended number. All right, and then grab the calipers again. We wanted 343 wide. I'd say we're there. Nice. That's easy to go in there and clean that face up though. So yeah, I'm gonna go in there and just take a few more thou out of that diameter, just like you saw a minute ago, so no need showing that. But after that, I'll inspect it, make sure we're there. We'll put a chamfer tool in here and break all these sharp edges. All right, we went in there and cleaned that up just a little bit more. I took another couple thousandths off that face there as well. Kind of widen it out a little bit. Let's see what I get right there. There you go. 2 inches. Right on size. Let's check that width because I took a couple thou out of that one too. Yep, 345. Perfect. All right. Now we can go ahead and chamfer all them groove edges. Okay, we've got our chamfer tool installed. Let's go in there and break all the edges. And just so you know, that very last corner where the seal is, we usually open that one up, make it a little bit wider chamfer in there. And that's just to help get the seal up in there. All right, well, that's going to finish up the bore for now. We got our 2 grooves. Everything is on size. So last thing we need to do is go ahead and finish this OD, get this turned to 3 inches, and then we'll part it off. Go ahead and get a measurement on our OD here. See where we're at. 30 thou over. So we'll just tell you what we'll do. Let's touch it, take a little cut, mic it, and adjust it, and bring it down to 3 inches. So 10, 20, make a little cut. Go ahead and mic this one. Ten and a half thou. Let's just take 10. Chamfer that corner. All right, it's time to part it off. So I've already measured this off camera. I just wanted to show you guys. So I believe the size in which this was machined to was 2 5/16. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and part it off 2 7/16. That'll give me a little extra to face off there. I'm just going to scale it out, measure it 2 7/16. That looks pretty close, right about there. All right, and then in the drill chuck, I've got this bronze rod that we're going to use. I'm going to stick it up in there like that, and then that'll catch it whenever it parts off. Here's something I like to do with the drops. I like to chamfer these sharp edges off here, just eliminate burrs from handling this. There's been one too many times where I've reached down to grab a drop or a piece of material that was machined previously, and I cut my fingers on it because of that kind of stuff right there. So I just like to come in here before you take it out of the chuck and just break those edges off there. Just as simple as that. All right, well, time to move on to the next phase of the machining. So we'll take this stock out. I'm gonna do a little bit of cleanup here on the lathe. So we got a good piece of stock there to make another gland if we need, or other parts in the future. Put that away.